Hello viewers, welcome to my channel, and it's another beautiful day. I really want to appreciate everyone that be following me these years, and today I'll really be talking about the England and Scotland. At least in my little time in the UK, I have stayed in England and I also stayed in Scotland, and what I observed, the first thing I've observed is their weather. And the weather between England and Scotland is that England is not as cold as Scotland. I have entered night buses. I have stayed in the two parks, that is Scotland, like in Glasgow. In Glasgow, I've stayed in the park, and at Shoeday, I've stayed in the park. So at night and at night. So I have seen the differences that between their nights. Because there are sometimes that you stay in the bus station. In Shoeday, the one is 12, you have to go out of the bus station, and so you have to be inside the direct cold. The direct cold. If you want to enter bus like Mega Bus, Please Bus, and any other bus that uses that bus station. So I've seen the difference. Standing in the cold in England, standing in the cold in England, you can really tolerate it, you can be able, because I think somehow you observe that the weather is actually really cold, has been very cold at night, really very freezing cold. But I think I've been able to tolerate it. I think I've stayed outside, I've entered buses from Manchester to Scotland for about, I think, let me just say for about 10 times, 9 to 10 times, yes, 9 to 10 times at least every week. I must enter not less than twice, sometimes 3 times. I'll go on Sunday, come back on a Tuesday, and leave again on maybe come back on a Thursday. But at least, let me not just exaggerate, let me say at least I'm very sure of 8 times. Yes, at least I've entered. Okay, I have stayed I've shuttled between every week, at least for consistent 1 month, and that is 4 weeks. Now that 4 weeks, every week I must enter the road twice a week from Scotland to England, so at least twice a week. So that 4 times, let me say 8 times, because there was a time I entered 3 times, so that makes 9. So 8 times. Now these 8 times, I would say I've stayed in the bus station at Manchester for 4 times. I've stayed in Glasgow for 5 times. Yes, 5 times. Yeah. So the cold at night in England, though in England is when we enter night bus, when we are from 12, we enter night bus, because being I'm coming to school here, so for me to avoid the paying hotel bills for that night or eating anything for that day, so I would just come from England night bus and arrive by 6:30, 7 o'clock. I will just go straight to class. So you see that I've cut out that night already. So my night will now be inside my bus down, because of this accommodation stuff when I just came in. So I'll move down. So the staying out in Manchester, I think is tolerable, because though it's very cold, just forget about the cold. It's harmattan cold, but I think I've been able to tolerate it. But despite in Scotland, you don't stay out in the cold, as in exposed to the cold. You still have shelter, but it's just that the sides are open. I will be shivering. Where I'm sitting down, I will be shaking. I'm telling you about the same dress, the same clothing that I wore in Manchester now. I came here and I'm going back and I wore the same clothing, I will sit in the park and I will still be shivering. I'll be shivering at night till I'm able to enter the bus to go back to Manchester. That is one difference, one striking difference I observe between England and Scotland. Another thing I also observe is still the weather. In England, once the sun comes out, the weather is bright, you experience this kind of a little warmth. Yes, you have this little warmth in the house, and even though you are working, you have this warmth within you. Though you still have this cold because it's cold time, but you still have, it's not as cold, it's just like cold, just cold. You are in a temperate region, so it's cold. But in Scotland, even you see that sun that is bright, very bright sun that can even blind your eyes when you try to look at, when you are facing the sun and you are walking, you have to put your hand here. That hand you put here will be freezing. You will be cold. I even experienced it today when I was coming from church. This weather was bright, though there was shower at night. The weather was bright, but I was freezing. I was cold. It's not like I wore normal dress like this. I still put on my coat, my scarf, everything. I was still freezing. I'll be going to church. So is it today that I decided to go to church in Scotland? That is the one that I want to die as I'm coming out from church. The weather is so different despite the sun. Then another thing I observed also is that going to Tesco shop in England and going to Tesco shop, there's still variation. Tesco shop in England and Tesco shop in Scotland, there's still price variation. The England side has more pounds or more pence in the same thing, the same quantity than in Scotland. That is what I still observe. Also in Aldi, I was able to get in Scotland, though not in city center, I was able to get the same size of chicken plates for £1. Though in area, which is in Scotland, £1, and in that same size, I got it in England. The same size, the same drumstick, I got it at £1.75 in England. The same thing, because I'm someone that is very, very observant. And other things like apple, getting 6 apples. I got 6 apples for 99 pence at Aya, and I got it for 1.5, as £1.50 in England. The same 6, with the same sizes. I think I would say for food, if I've observed, the ones I've observed, I stand to be corrected. The one I've observed, I think food is cheaper in Glasgow than in England. That's what I've observed. Even the African food, but in African food, the same thing. So I think for cost of living, Glasgow is cheaper for cost of living, because even the rent here, like in Manchester now, you get a 2-bedroom for 900. You get for £1,200 a month. Here, if it's not furnished, you can get as low as £550. Yes, you can get as low as £600, £650. But in Manchester, 900, 1,000, £1,200, excluding bills and all that. So that is those are the things I've actually observed about Scotland and England and Manchester. Let me just, because it's Manchester I've actually been. I've been to Manchester, I've been to Preston, I've been to Rochester, I've been to Accrington. They're almost like the same time, towards Bolton. I've been to those places, and so I think I've bought something in these different places. I've come down there, I've stayed at least for more than 10 hours for each, and I bought something, and I've lived in some this coming and staying in different places. though it's you can call it stressful, but to me I call it educative. Yes, because I've, at least in this my very few months of living here, I think I have more experience because of moving from one part of United Kingdom to the other. I say, I wish I can just go to Wales now. I just understand the roads to Wales, go to different places, and I'm really enjoying it. It's making me to know the area. So that's the little I have to say about England and Scotland, about their weather and the little buying I've done in their shops. And once more, if you have not subscribed, don't just watch this video and just press the subscribe button. Thank you for viewing.